Hey everyone, this is your girl Sharifa, aka Shree, and welcome to the I'm Good podcast, or in better words, the I Feel Good podcast. If you are new here, welcome to the family. This is a podcast where I explore topics on mental health, physical health, nutrition, and everything in between. So if you're trying to get right and stay right mentally, this is definitely the place you want to be. And wait, before I begin, here's some quick info. Why did I name this podcast I'm Good? Simple. Because as people, from a cultural standpoint, whether we are down or happy, our favorite response to friends, families, or strangers is I'm good, even if we're not. It's completely normal not to feel happy all the time, but in the midst of whatever you go through, the saying I'm good can elaborate to so many different meanings. So yes, this is the place to be, whether you are down, happy, excited, and everything in between. I'm here to dish out knowledge, talk about current topics, and of course, lift you up. So feel free to go ahead and subscribe, share this podcast, leave a review, and tell a friend. Now let's go ahead and get started on today's show. Hey guys, if you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. And let me explain to you really quick. First of all, for starters, it's free. Yes, I said it's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And I know most of you guys have a phone or computer, so it's so easy. Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So make sure you download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Hey everybody, welcome back to the I'm Good podcast. If you are new here, what's good? What's poppin'? Thank you so much for tuning in and checking out today's episode. And if you are part of the I'm Good fam, the I'm Good crew, a returning listener, what's good? What's poppin'? I hope I hope you all had a wonderful, wonderful week. And if not, hopefully this podcast can help make you feel better. So thank you, as always. I always like to express gratitude. Thank you to everyone who has tuned in to the I'm Good podcast, whether you tune into an episode that was way, way back and you're just now catching up, or if you're new here, or if you found out about this podcast through like someone you may know or through social media. Whatever it is, thank you. Honestly, y'all, listen, I tell y'all this every single week. Thank you. I always have to express gratitude. It's so important. So I just want to thank everybody who has tuned in to the I'm Good podcast. And listen, thank you for rocking with your girl, okay? Thank you for rocking with your girl. Listen, it's only on and upward from here. Also, too, this podcast is sponsored by www.allthingsshree.com. So go ahead and use your promo code GoodFam at checkout to get 10% off your entire order. Once again, use your promo code GoodFam at checkout to get 10% off your order. The website features sweatshirts, hoodies, and tees that are meant to inspire you, make you feel confident. And then I also do have some faith-driven merch as well on there. So make sure you guys go ahead and go to www.allthingsshree.com. That's SHRI.com. And use your special promo code. No one else has this promo code. This is only given to my I'm Good listeners. And use your promo code I'm Good Fam to get 10% off of your entire order. Okay? Period. Also, too, if you are listening to this on an Apple device, if you're listening to this through like Apple Podcasts, if you're listening to this on your iPhone, MacBook, iPad, whatever it may be, make sure you go ahead and leave a rating and review if you have not done so. So listen, you can leave a rating review while you're listening to this podcast episode, but make sure you guys go ahead and leave a rating review. And if you are listening to this on another platform as well, that's fine. Go ahead. If there's a feature on there where you can leave like a rating review, go ahead and do that. That is another way for more people to get to know about the podcast as well. So if you guys could kindly do that. And for everyone who has done that, thank you. And thank you in advance to whoever is listening to this for going ahead and leaving a rating review. It's definitely appreciated. Like I just love I just love it. I love y'all. Okay, listen, y'all be rocking with your girl. Okay, y'all be rocking with your girl. Also, too, if you have not checked out the midweek roll call, the episode before this, make sure you guys go ahead and check out the midweek roll call. Those episodes I release every Wednesday, and those are affirmations that I speak. So make sure you guys go ahead and check out those. Check out Wednesday's episode on the midweek roll call with affirmations. And as always, too, with the affirmations, feel free to write them down. You can put them down. You can put them on an index card. You can put them on a sticky note, whatever it may be for you. But feel free to write them down and just, keep it somewhere near you. You can keep it inside like your bedroom. You can keep it inside your purse. You can keep it in your pocket, whatever it may be. Because listen, affirmations are important. Affirmations are really, really, really important in regards to helping you to build your confidence and just to help you overall mentally just feel stronger. So, yes, y'all. So if you have not checked out the midweek roll call, make sure you guys go ahead and do that. And also, too, if you have not shared this podcast yet, especially if you are on social media, if you have like an Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or should I say Metaverse, that's the name. I believe that's the name they're changing it to. They say Metaverse, which is crazy. I'm not a big, I used to be like a big avid Facebook user back in the day, but like I used to be big on Facebook, but I've migrated over to Instagram within the past 5 or 6 years. But I used to be big on Facebook and stuff like that. But yes, so go ahead and share it on the Metaverse. I don't know when it's going to be changing its name, but it's going to be changing its name soon. But go ahead and share it on Facebook, aka Metaverse. Share with your family, your friends, your bae, your boo, your husband, your wife, okay, your bestie, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your sis, your bruh, whoever. So make sure you guys go ahead and share that podcast. That's also another way you can show appreciation. So if you ever want to know like how you can show appreciation to this podcast, just, doing things such as sharing this podcast as well as like leaving a review. That's a great way to show your appreciation for this podcast as well. So today's episode, I want to talk about becoming fearless and, being more courageous. So it's October, the spooky season, as you like to call it. So I wanted to talk about, it's the end of October because we're about to head into the holidays. I love Thanksgiving, but I love Christmas, y'all. I love Christmas. But yes, y'all. So this episode, to end it off, in October off, I wanted to talk about ways to become more fearless. Okay, so bye fear, hello courage. Okay. And this is something that I think that is very important. It's something that we all need to, it's something that we all just, there's something that we're all facing or something. Many of us, I should say, not all. Many of us we have fears. Sometimes we have fears that we don't even know about until we actually talk to somebody, whether you talk to a therapist, a friend, or whoever it may be. Sometimes we actually have, fears that we don't even know that we have. We just think it's kind of normal because that's how we operate. But sometimes some things that we do, and I'm learning myself, like some things that I do, the way I operate, I'm like, wait, am I operating like this based off of fear? And then when I say that to myself and kind of just talk it out, I say to myself, like, wait a second. There's a fear. This fear is holding me back. And fear is very crippling. So I really want to talk about ways that you can become more fearless and to not, have fear hold you back. Easier said than done. I definitely get it. I'm not completely fearless. I don't really know if anybody, I shouldn't say that. Well, I was going to say, I don't know if anybody really is completely fearless, but there are all things. None of us are, let me put it like this. None of us are perfect. So none of us literally are perfect. If there's a perfect person, no. None of us are perfect. So that should make you feel better because I think a lot of times we think, even celebrities, people, they're perfect or, they're this and that, or people, look up to celebrities, which is fine. Nothing wrong with looking up to someone, but, we're all human. So, even like your most famous celebrity, I know people love Beyonce. I love Beyonce, she probably has fears, but it's just, you have to learn how to get past them, to navigate through them, or just to kind of talk it out with someone. So I want to talk about ways to become more fearless. The first one on my list is something that came to light to me after listening to a podcast episode, Eric Thomas podcast, The Secret to Success podcast with Eric Thomas. He had someone on there that called into the podcast to join in. And basically something was really, I thought this was really like, I never thought about it this way, but basically it was a lady on there and she called in. She was part of they had like a motivational conference and she was one of the speakers. And she said, when you speak to people or whoever, don't ever say you don't know. And I was like, wait, I never thought about that. She said, don't ever say you don't know. Like, she said, focus on what you know. So stop telling people like you don't know. And if you don't know, she said, ask someone, reach out to someone, look up the information. But she talked about, just saying you don't know. And they kind of talked about how don't know is also a type of fear. How a lot of times when you say you don't know, because I'll say it too, somebody asks me something, I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes that could be a little bit of some type of fear or insecurity. But she talked about when someone asks you something or if you're not sure, don't say you don't know. You can always, say, well, I can look that up. Basically, she just talked about the importance of, focusing on what you know. I think a lot of times, just even me, just having a business and just doing podcasting and just whatever else I have going on, I feel like a lot of times I focus on what I don't know. And I feel like a lot of people do this, but I know I do this. I focus on what I don't know versus what I know. Like, I know what I know, but for some reason in my mind, sometimes I'm like, well, that's not good enough. Everybody knows that. But one thing I'm learning too, and this is for you as well, is that whatever level you're at, or whatever you do know, that's important. And sometimes I have to tell myself what I do know, someone else may not know. So I think a lot of times we think that what we know is not good enough, but there's someone who's on a lower level who may not even know what you know. So I had to, that really opened my eyes up today with focusing on what you know. And honestly, like she said it, when you say that you don't know, that is a type of fear, a type of insecurity, a type of a way to kind of put a shield up of like, okay, I don't know, or I just don't want to look it up, or, I don't want to dig into it deeper. But she talked about focusing on what you know. So someone asks you something, maybe you may not know the full answer, but you can still give them a slight answer of what you do know. So I was like, okay, that was my first tip that I wanted to, bring to you guys in regards to, letting go of fear, is focusing on what you know. So what do you know about, I'm trying to think, what do you know about, so say for instance, if you have a fear of relationships, what do you know about relationships? What is something that you feel that you can work on for yourself so that you can be in a healthy relationship? So I think a lot of times, or even if you are in a relationship and you're in a dating phase and you're talking to a guy, this is for my ladies, if you're talking to a guy and you don't really know much about the guy or whatever, just focus on what you do know. So that's just one example, whatever. But there's tons and tons of different examples, but that's something that it really opened my eyes up to, is I need to start, I'm telling y'all, this podcast really is like my inner vision as well, but I think it's so important that we start focusing on what we know. And a lot of times, like I said, I think social media sometimes ruin it because we see someone else doing this and that. And it's like, wait, how did they get there? How did they do this? How did they get this? Or blah, blah, blah. It's like, what am I missing out on? You start feeling like FOMO, fear of missing out. That is what FOMO is. You start to feel like you're missing out on something, or how did this person make six figures? Or how did this person do so well in this position? Or how did this person make $1 million? Or how did this YouTuber blow up? Focus on what you know and focus on what you know at this moment. No, you may not be presently, maybe you don't have $1 million in your bank account, but by looking at what somebody else is doing in a way, there's nothing wrong with being motivated, but if you're looking at a person in a way of like, oh my gosh, how did they get $1 million? You're really not going to get there. You have to focus on what you know and what you can do now. So if you want to be a YouTuber, maybe you can use your phone, to start recording. So basically focus on what you know, focusing on what you do know. that goes to eating healthy. You may not know all the healthy foods to eat, but majority of people know, well, hey, vegetables and fruits are healthy. So whether it means you get an apple or you eat broccoli or a piece of broccoli or you buy carrots, it doesn't matter. And I think sometimes I get so stuck on that. Actually, I do. Like when I go grocery shopping, it's like I already know what foods to eat. I have a background in nutrition, but sometimes I get so stuck on wanting to know about other vegetables that are out there and other foods that I can eat. I'm like, sis, get the foods that you know about and keep it moving. So that's my first tip. And I thought, like I said, when she mentioned that on that podcast, I was like, I never thought about it that way. Like, stop focusing on what you don't know and focus on what you know. Like, focus, like wherever you're at right now, you're in the perfect position to become whoever you want to be, but you just have to start where you're at. So number 2, in regards to becoming fearless, is admitting to your fears. Easier said than done. Sometimes our fears, like I stated before, sometimes we have fears that we don't even know about. We don't recognize until, someone may walk into our life. They might recognize it, or, years later, you may be like, oh, shoot, this fear came from maybe this childhood experience, or this fear came from when I was in college, or this fear came, So sometimes we actually do have fears that we're not aware of. We kind of just, go about our everyday lives, thinking that what we do is normal, which is, it is most of the time. But sometimes there are things that we could be doing that may not actually be normal. It might just be that we're doing stuff based off of a fear. So, the second tip is, I would say, in regards to becoming more courageous, is admitting to your fear. Just simple as admitting to it. I'm not even saying you have to do anything. Just admit to it. Admit to your fear. And once you admit to it, that right there can help you figure out some solutions. Just admitting to it by yourself. And like I said, easier said than done. Okay? I know, y'all, it's easier said than done. But the first step is admitting to the fear. So if you have whatever the fear is, the first step is admitting to it. And then after that, you can figure out, okay, well, this fear is holding me back from here. So what can I do to progress forward, or what solutions are out there for me to get over this fear or past this fear or navigate through it? So that's number 2. Number 3 is try your best to learn more. So it kind of goes back to what I had said earlier in regards to the woman on the podcast who said, focus on what you know. So whatever you don't know, look it up. Look it up. Google is excellent. Google's excellent. YouTube is excellent. So it's really, really important, to just continue to learn. So whether you're still in school, it's important while you're in school to learn, but even out of school, like I've graduated from college already. And, I think a lot of times, even when I got my undergrad, in my mind, I'm like, well, actually, now that I think about it, I did try to go back to school. But, after I got my undergrad, I'm like, oh, okay, no more learning. But learning is an everyday process. And I will honestly say this. I feel like even leaving my undergrad, I feel like, so graduating, whatever, and getting my undergrad degree is almost like, okay, once you graduate, that's it. No more learning. You get into your job and that's it. But now that I'm older, I'm just like, no, like really taking the time to start learning stuff for yourself is so important. Like, that's why you see people, have their own businesses and making this type of money. It's really, really important to start learning more and start doing your own research. So if there's something that you're interested in, or if there's something that you're afraid of, or something that, like, some type of fear, as I said, admitting to your fear, something that you need to get past, look it up. Look up different things that you can do, whatever it is. If it is someone that you need to speak to, a therapist, whatever it may be, speak to a therapist. Okay, hey, y'all. Sorry, this part got cut off, so hopefully this doesn't interfere. But what I was saying previously before it had got cut off, my first portion of the my podcast recording was that, yes, so you can speak to a therapist. And then also, too, there are a lot of apps out there as well. I'm not sponsoring, I'm not getting paid, to talk about these apps, whatever. But I believe there are some apps. I forgot the name of them. Best Self, or maybe I'm making something up. But there's like 2 apps apps where you can speak to people like a therapist or a psychologist where they can help you, just with your just your overall mental health. But like I said, it's important. So if there is a fear that you have, or there's someone that you want to talk to, whatever, this and that, it's really important, to figure out solutions to your problems or solutions to like your insecurities. Like, what can you do to help you to become more courageous? And then number 4, the last one that I have in regards to some tips to become more fearless is just take action. It's easier said than done, but honestly, taking action is the best thing that you can do. A lot of times, we'll say, okay, well, I'll do it when... I'll do it tomorrow, or I'll do it when this or that. And I've been there. Like, I'll be like, okay, I'll do it when I have things in order. No, things will never be perfect. And that's the thing about it. Just when you say, okay, I'm going to do it Monday. So then when Monday arrives, something else will come up, whatever, this and that. But the most important thing is just to take action. So whatever it is, drop it, whatever it is, just take action, figure out that moment. Okay, what can I do for myself to make myself become more fearless, and take action and start then and there. Or if you do need a day, whatever it may be in regards to you, becoming more fearless and courageous, whatever length of time it does take, it doesn't matter. But I would just say take action and go and get it. So whatever it is that you feel that you need to do to become more fearless, I would say just go ahead and take action. Whatever that may look like for you. So it really is just based off of your fear, or whatever your fear is, whatever it is. And people, honestly, there's fears of weight loss. Some people, there's fear of success, fear of failure, fear of getting into a relationship. I mean, there are so many different fears. And a lot of times, like I said, is that we do have these fears and we don't even recognize that we're having this fear because we're so used to operating in a particular manner. So like I said, it's really important just to you know what? I'll put it like this. It's so important. Like, I've been doing this myself. It's so important to just get into reflection mode. I think a lot of times there's so much information out there. You got social media. We're so busy. We're working. We're doing this, and that. Everybody wants us. Everybody's pulling us there, here, and there, whatever. But sometimes you just need time to just really reflect on your life. Figure out, okay, where am I at right now? Do I like where I'm at? Can I see myself going farther? What can I do to make myself happier? Whatever it may be. So it's really, really important to just sit back and figure out, okay, what is it that I need to do to grow as a person? Because honestly, I personally don't feel like there's a time where you should stop growing. I think no matter what age you are at, there's always room for growth because we don't know everything. There's no way our brains can't even hold that much information. There's no way that there's a person that knows everything. That's why you have people in different areas of specialties and that does different things. For someone who thinks they know everything, I don't know. That's a scary person because, not everybody knows everything. And it's okay to know a lot or know a lot of information. But even if someone feels like they do know everything, I'm not going to knock that person down. They may not be able to execute whatever that area is as efficiently as in someone who may specifically have knowledge in a specific area, if that makes sense. So, but yes, y'all. So I wanted to end October off with ways to become more fearless and to become more fearless and to become more courageous. So y'all already know it's time for the quote of the week. And this week's quote of the week is, once you become fearless, you become limitless. Let me repeat that again. Once you become fearless, you become limitless. Okay, take the limits off. Limitless. They say the sky is the limit. No. Your limits are past the sky. Okay? So once you become fearless, you become limitless. All right. I'm good, fam. We are now at the end of this week's show, and I hope this information was helpful, insightful, and everything in between. Do not forget to go ahead and subscribe to the I'm Good podcast. Share this podcast, leave a review, and tell a friend. So tell the world. Go ahead and tell the world. Tell your bestie, tell your friend, tell your neighbor. Tell whoever about the I'm Good podcast, because we're family over here. We are family. And also, too, if you did make it to the end of the podcast, do not forget to go ahead and use your special promo code I'm Good Fam on www.allthingstree.com to get 10% off your order. So make sure you guys go ahead and do that. And once again, thank you to everyone for tuning in. And I will see all of you beautiful people next week. Bye-bye.